let's get into this episode. How to write a book in 9 different steps. So, step 1, pick a genre. Take a glance at your bookshelf and think back at what type of books that you read and start from there. There's mystery, there's romance, there's nonfiction, there's fiction, there's fantasy. There's too many different genres I could name. But to be a good writer, when it comes to picking out your genre, you have to be able to read a lot of that particular genre. So you can't just write a book about romance if you haven't studied or read anything about romance. You can't write a thriller or mystery book like I did if you didn't read a bunch of mystery and suspense thriller books. All right, step 2, start from the end. Always know the ending of your story. I know. That's how I made 31 Days to Live. I knew the ending of my book before I even started the book. If you know how your book ends, then starting it off shouldn't be a problem. It's the middle that's the hardest part about writing this book. It really is, because you know how your story begins, you know how your story ends, but getting to that ending is the treacherous part, because you want to know what's the page count, what's the word count, how many chapters is it going to be, am I going to take this out, am I going to keep this. There's a lot that goes into it. Step 3, creating your characters. My book has a very diverse audience of characters. I'm talking about Colombian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Black, white. I have a lot of different groups of people. I try to step out of the norm of the typical person that you normally see in these books, and I try to get my book a little bit of flavor to give readers someone to relate to. So yeah, creating characters that looks like you and I, that actually does help out with your readers, because you want them to be able to relate to your characters. So you put these characters into real live scenarios, or you can put them into fictional scenarios, but you want the readers to have some type of relationship with looking at your characters. So creating characters is always good. I don't know how many characters you may want to put in your story. My book has about at least, I want to say 20 different characters, and that's like 20 different personalities, because you don't want each character to have the same personality. How do you give each character different voices in the book? That requires a little secret. I used people that I knew in real life and changed their names and took some of their personalities, and that's how I generated my ideas on how to create characters. Shh. Make an outline. I wish I would have did this a long time ago. Making an outline is very important, and it's so easy and flexible, because when you're outlining your stuff, it's kind of like doing a script for a play. Putting bullet points and timelines and things like that, that helps out what you want to put here, what you want to put here, what you want to put here. And I'm actually glad that now I'm doing that in my adult life, because I've been working on 31 Days to Live, this book. I've been working on this since I was 15 years old. Like I said, it's been 13 years in total, 3 years since this book has been out to the public, and it's crazy how far this book has come. But making that outline paid off, because now that leads to the next part, the first draft. The first draft is basically where you just write, straight up write your stuff. Don't even care about whether you have to revise it, whether you have to edit it, just write. That's your first draft, because you're not going to put this book out there without editing it. Step 6, for all you drinkers out there, give yourself a drink. I personally don't drink, but if you want to take a break, sip a little here and there, let your thoughts flow, take a break. Don't overwhelm yourself with ideas. I know you want to put it all out on paper, but you can only put so much. And if you do pop up with an idea, put it on paper. If you have a dream about it, put it on paper, because you never know. That idea might turn into something great for your story. So yeah, a toast. Rewrite the story. And that's where you basically, at this point, you're about done with your book. Not completely done, but you're making changes here and there, making revisions about your things. And you want to take this, take that, take this, take that, revision, revision, revision. Don't be so quick to want to publish your book, because that's what happened to me. 3 years ago, I rushed and my book had a few grammatical errors. And to this day, it kind of got a little bit, a tiny bit of errors, but it's not as bad as it was 3 years ago, because I was a first-time person at this. I was so anxious and eager to get my stuff out there. And, you know, I dealt with the minor ridicule. It wasn't like hectic ridicule. It was kind of like constructive criticism that said that, okay, we knew this guy was new, we forgive him, it's his first book, but now I want to be taken serious, especially since I got 2 books now, and I want to be taken serious in the author world, whether I am the local author, as many people know me in Brooklyn, or the big time author like the J.K. Rowlings, what's the girl's name from the Hunger Games? I think her name was Suzette. James Patterson is one of my favorite authors. R.L. Stein is one of my favorite authors. You know, the guy that made Goosebumps. I actually met him, by the way. But yeah, where am I going about with this? Yeah, never rush your story. Never rush your book. Always take your time to revise your stuff, because you don't want to put your things out there and not be taken serious in the world. Where am I at on the steps? Yeah, another step I want to say is edit. Edit is important. Get some beta readers to look over your material, so that way they could give you guys some suggestions and ideas. And last but not least, final draft, where you basically go over all the things that you did previously in the first run. And then once you're done professionally getting it, revise, edit, whatever, read over, take things, leave things, bring things back, chop it up. Because, you know, your first draft is never going to look like your final draft. Because say, for instance, you wanted to keep something in the story. For example, I had a guy named Argenis in my story, in my final draft. You want to know what his name originally was? A girl named Alice. So you see how I not only just changed his name, he was a different gender in my first draft. So anyway, that's all I got to say. And then when you're done with all of it, a toast. Pat yourself on the back, celebrate, have some fun. Yay, we made it, we published our stuff, blah, blah, blah. And be grateful, because it's not easy. Patience is virtue. Never rush your stuff. Take constructive criticism, because if you don't take criticism lightly, you will take things the wrong way. And as a result, it will lead you to self-doubt. And the last thing you want is self-doubt. That's what happened to me, the younger me. The older me, I could take a little bit of jabs here and there. It depends on what it is. But yeah, for those of you guys who are watching this, those are my 9 steps on how to write your stuff. Now go out there and continue writing and make some time, even if it's like a little sentence here and there, because we all got lives, we all got busy schedules, and I don't expect you guys to finish a book in like a month. I'm talking about you people who are for November, which I respect you guys. You finish a book in a month? I can't even do that. It took me 10 years to write my stuff. So if you could finish your stuff in a month, great, good for you. Some people finish stuff in 3 months. Some people finish their stuff in 6 months. I don't know, how do you guys do it? But me, I want to take my time on my stuff. And right now I'm working on the 3rd story, and I want to take my time with that. This one came out in 2015. This one came out in 2018. You guys ain't going to see the 3rd one until 2020 or 2021. Anyway, I've been ranting, and I've been talking on and on and on. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you in a later episode of Keeping It Real. Keep on writing, writers.